All right, sweet. We're golden.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Okay, everybody ready?
Is ready.
Ready?
Yes.
It is 7:06. I call the July 13, 2021 regular meeting of the Franklin County Planning Commission meeting to order. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Before we get into the meeting, I will turn things over to staff to discuss the meeting format.
Thank you, Chair. Tonight's meeting will be conducted through an online virtual meeting platform. Should an individual planning commissioner become unexpectedly disconnected, please rejoin the meeting at your first opportunity. The record will reflect your attendance. The meeting will be paused for up to 10 minutes to address technical difficulties. If they cannot be resolved within 10 minutes, then the meeting will proceed so long as a quorum of planning commissioners are present. Sub 2021-06 Zaragoza edition has been pulled from the agenda due to an appeal filed by the Pasco School District. Our office apologizes for the inconvenience. We just don't know where that's sitting right now. That may be coming forward as an appeal. We just have not been, since we sent that notice out, we have not heard from the applicant. So
Can you say that again, Derek? I'm sorry.
Zaragoza has been pulled due to an appeal by the Pasco School District. We cannot process or proceed forward until that appeal has been addressed. We usually, what we do is we have a couple weeks where, they work it out. However, we have not heard from the applicant regarding any disposition, nor have we been contacted by the school district. So following this meeting, we give them up until today to get these things worked out, because as long as they have it before we start the hearing, we can proceed. But we've heard nothing, so we have no ETA or anything like that. So we'll be reaching out to that applicant to find out the status of that. But until such time as we can get that resolved one way or the other, that one cannot move forward. It's just because of the appeal has to be addressed. So either the school district will have to withdraw their appeal, or we'll have to go through the full appeal process, which that can be pretty extensive.
And so does that affect any of the items on the agenda?
No, we've updated the agenda to reflect
Okay.
that.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nope, not a problem. It has more to do with the notices that we've sent out and things like that, the notifications. So please activate your mute button at the bottom of your screen when not speaking. And as a reminder, if you're watching this meeting on YouTube Live and wish to comment or need clarification on a public hearing item, please send us an email at planninginquiry, all one word, at co.franklin.wa.us before the public comment period closes. Once public comment period has closed on said item, comments will not be included as part of the discussion nor the record. And I'll hand that over to Vice Chair Corrales.
Will planning staff call roll and announce whether or not we have a quorum?
Melinda Didier, Claude Parrott, Mike Vincent,
Here.
Leighton Lowe, Mike Corrales,
Here.
Roger Link,
Present.
Kent McMullen.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
We will now lead. I will now lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag.
Flag.
United
United States of America.
And to the republic.
Stands one nation under God.
Indivisible, liberty and justice for all. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Mr. Chair, as Commissioner Link, I move to approve the agenda for July 13th, 2021.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It has been moved by Commissioner Link and seconded by Commissioner Vincent. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. It is now time for the public hearing portion of our meeting. Good evening and welcome. I will turn things briefly over to our staff host who will go over the ground rules for tonight's hearing.
Okay, here are the ground rules for tonight's virtual WebEx hearing. All speakers will be called upon individually during the public testimony portion of the hearing, giving their name for the audio record, as well as if they are in favor, neutral, or against the proposal. Please mute your audio when you're not speaking. All comments and questions shall be addressed to the Planning Commission and should be relevant to the application and not be of a personal nature. Each speaker shall have 5 minutes to provide testimony. Please avoid repetitive comments. If there are a large number of speakers part of a group or organization, please elect a representative to speak on behalf of the group. And behavior such as clapping, booing, hissing, or other remarks prohibited. Every citizen here should have the opportunity to testify without such distractions.
Are there any questions regarding the public hearing ground rules? Turning for a moment to our commission members, let us keep in mind that we are prohibited by law from communicating with members of the public on the subject matter of these hearings, except in these hearings. We also may not participate in a discussion where there is an appearance of conflict of interest to the average person. So let us take a minute to consider as to the matter which are before us for hearing today. Whether we had any ex parte communications, whether we have any ownership interests in the properties, whether we have any business dealings with proponents or opponents of the matters, or whether we have business associates or immediate family who may be either benefited or harmed by a decision in these matters. Are there any commission members who have declared at this time, who have a declaration at this time of any of the items on the agenda? Let the record show there were no declarations. Is there anyone in the audience this evening who would object to any commission member hearing any of the items on the agenda?
So there's, I guess, a call-in user. Let me see if I can. Hello? Or do you object to any of the, I guess, items or?
No.
No? Okay.
Let the record
right.
show there were no objections. The order of the hearing shall be as follows. Planning staff shall provide a staff report. The commission may ask questions of staff, the applicant or applicant's representatives, presentation, public testimony for or against regarding the project, final staff comments, clarification of public statements that occurred during the testimony portion of the public hearing, close the public hearing, and Planning Commission discussion of the proposed action. Are there any? So we'll begin the public hearing.
I'm going to repeat that last one. It got kind of broke up. The last statement Mr. Corrales made was, are there any procedural questions before we begin the public hearing?
I guess I can ask the call-in user again.
No,
Yeah.
no.
No? Okay.
He's good. Okay, sorry. Okay, we are on.
No.
They're doing it again.
Yeah.
It's breaking up. It's all LTE.
Yeah. If it's okay
Okay,
with
somebody
the
else is
chair,
gonna
I'll
have
go
to
ahead and
take
read
over
that.
then.
It gets, I would prefer if you maintain the meeting and I'll just read this into the record if that's okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do the whole meeting probably then.
See, you came through fine there. Item 1 is a public hearing for CUP 2021-06. It's a proposal to allow for an addition to an existing shop, which contains a combination of shop space and a detached accessory dwelling unit. This land use action is allowed only upon approval of a CUP as provided for in FCC 17.66060J. The request adds approximately 1,600 square feet to an existing 1,536 square foot shop with a 1,200 square foot DADU, detached accessory dwelling unit, and a shop addition of 400 square feet. Zoning for the property is rural residential 5, RR5, with a rural remote comprehensive plan land use designation. So are there additional people logging in to see comment on this matter?
Not that I can see at all, so.
So I'm going to hand this back over to Mr. Corrales.
I declare
For
the public
declaration.
hearing for CUP 2021-07. May we
717.
present the staff report, please?
Yeah.
They do have Aaron, can you set me up to share? Oh, there it is.
Oh, you got it.
Think so.
Okay.
Yep, not that one.
Okay, you got the,
This is
that should be in the, yep, there, yeah.
Okay, and everybody can see the PowerPoint that's on.
Yeah, you got it like in presenter mode or something.
Sorry.
So it's like presenter, so it's not a full screen. It's just like,
So what do I need to do to fix that?
let's see, might be trying to, here, let me go over there real quick. I'll put up.
Normally it kicks over.
Yeah. Let's see. What the hell? Let's.
Swap to the slideshow.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, so as mentioned, this is, everybody can hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, so as mentioned, this is CUP conditional use permit 2021-06. This is for Mr. Nelson, is the applicant. Property is located to the north of Lisa Lane, west of Wisemer Lane, south of Alder Road, and east of Nicole Road. The address is 51 Wisener, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Way, Pasco, Washington 99301. Parcel numbers 124-160-283. Legal description is as shown. This is a subject area map. You see my mouse? This is off the arrow. This is the subject property. Comp plan designation is rural remote. The zoning is rural residential 5. The applicant is, again, as mentioned, seeking to expand an existing 1,536 square foot shop to include an additional 400 square foot of shop space and 1,200 square foot for a detached accessory dwelling unit. The detached here references the fact that it is not attached to the primary resident. Anytime we have a dwelling unit that is not connected to the primary dwelling unit, or a resident on the property, it is considered a detached. Even though this is attached to a garage, that's not what makes it attached or detached. The current property size of the parcel is approximately 5 acres. And then the only part that's really under question here is the 1,200 square feet for the DADU, because the other aspects of the build are permitted by right. Here's proposed site plan. gotta get in here close. It's a little hard for me to read on my screen. So this is the proposed location of the home barn. That's not part of this application at this
What?
point in time, I don't believe. So this is the existing shop, and then this is the expansion. Basically, it's approximately a little over twice, expanding the footprint by 2. The 1,200 square feet meets the requirements under county code, such that a detached accessory dwelling unit shall be at least 720 square feet and shall be no larger than, as far as the actual living space, larger than 1,600 square feet, and this is proposed at 1,200. Here's a house on the property, and then this is the existing shop. So staff notified agencies, mailed notices to property within 1 mile. The sign was posted on the property on or about. The SEPA determination of non-significant was issued, as well as public notice was published in the Franklin County Graphic, all on June 17, 2021. As far as I know, this is the only comment from the public we got. And as you can see, it's in support of the proposal. So the one we got was supportive of it. So because we are constructing something in a value of 25,000, there is a requirement for an approach permit. There's generally no charge for that. However, it's to ensure that the interaction between the county road and the property doesn't end up tearing up the road. It's effectively, sometimes our accesses are old and they aren't actually up to standard. So every time we have a $25,000 improvement on a property or higher, it needs to be reviewed by Public Works with regard to whether the approach is adequate. This would also be the case if you're creating a new access, anytime you're creating a new access. Ecology provided their standard letter. Basically, it talks about if you're doing this or if you're doing that, and these are the things you're supposed to do, but it's not really specific to the project. U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, comments were received on July 1st, 2021. And as stated here, the health district does not have any concern regarding this, and there's the septic is ready to accommodate the proposal, or at least a permit's been issued for that. The proposed use in the R5 zoning district is in accordance with the goals and policies of the county development regulations and the applicable comprehensive plan. Will not adversely affect public infrastructure. The proposal will be constructed, maintained, operated to be in harmony. And I'm going to ask Mr. Nelson, when it comes to that point, to articulate why there's a need for this on his property. I'm not going to get into that at this moment. Proposal will not adversely affect public infrastructure. Will be constructed, maintained, operated to be in harmony. Looks very similar to existing structures in the area. Same with the height and the it's not going to discourage it. It's a right to farm area, so even if it were an additional residence, there's still all the rights associated with the surrounding lands. Then again, it's not really any more objectionable. There's other residential structures as well as other shops in the area. And it's a relatively common development that occurs on properties in this area. Not necessarily the DADU, but the overall structure and stuff. And yeah, there's no, due to the requirements of it having adequate septic and everything like that, there's no risk to the health, safety, or general welfare if located where proposed. There's plenty of land there. In Franklin County, the minimum for a detached accessory dwelling unit is 2 acres, or is it 2.5 acres? I think it's 2 acres. But regardless, this is properties over 5 acres. Not a lot more, but it's over. So the ADU shall have an address of 53 Wisner Way. We're not allowed to assign additional or new addresses to either any accessory dwelling unit. They always have to have the same address. They are not even supposed to have their own mailbox. So exterior colors of the DADU must be compatible with the primary dwelling. It cannot be sold separately from the primary dwelling. The zoning there doesn't allow for further subdivision of the property. The accessory structure, the shop and the residential, will need to meet the 2018 International Residential Code standards. And the unit shall not be rented or to a party. The only people that can live in this unit are family or permanent hired help. For example, you can build a detached accessory dwelling unit and say you have a 24-hour in-care nurse or something. You can do that. You can have family, like multi-generations on the same property, these types of things. It can't be like rented to me because I don't know Mr. Nelson, It has to be family or permanent hired help on the property. Nor shall it be used for business purposes. The fact that it's built to a residential standard also limits its ability to be used for business. Anything that's being used for business needs to be built to a commercial standard and falls under the International Building Code as opposed to the residential code. Our suggested motion is that the Franklin County Board of County Commissioners that actually should have been modified. I apologize. This should actually be read more in line with suggested motion would be I move that the Franklin County Planning Commission recommend to the county commissioners the adoption of the 6 findings of fact, 9 conditions of approval as recommended by the planning, and included in the staff report. And so this is actually now I'm looking at it, a board recommendation.
Yeah.
So happy to answer any questions. It's pretty a straightforward application.
Are there any questions of staff? If not, does the applicant's representative wish to speak?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Link. I have a question for staff.
Yes.
2 questions. You said that, Derek, that this cannot have a separate address. The address appears to be 51 Wisner Way, but you're signing it 53 Wisner Way. Am I missing something?
Well,
51 or 53?
The address on
It's
the application
51.
is 51.
Aaron, do you recall that did Michael assign a separate address for this?
yeah, he assigned a separate address. That's where that came from. Yeah.
Then I'm not going to, I may have misspoke regarding that in this application. Mr. Morgan is kind of our addressing guru. He's the one who coordinates. So basically, he's the one who said that it can have it, then it should be able to have it. It's for EMS, and that trumps everything. We need to make sure that so I may have misspoke on that. I would have to double check. But due to Mr. Morgan assigning that, staff would recommend proceeding as such.
Okay. Second question, Franklin County Code 1766, 60, mentioned the items that you came up with as as it relates to the proposal in the staff report on page 5 and 7. It just says that the living area cannot be rented or used for business purposes. Do we need to be more specific in those findings of fact and recommendations? That it needs to be for care of an invalid or disabled individual?
It's not, that's not the case. What I just used that as an example. It could be siblings, it's family members, and that falls under our overall use regulations associated with accessory dwelling units. So when we read that chapter, it kind of starts with the attached accessory dwelling units. All of those rules apply, not all of them, but as far as, hold on, so what happens is 050, when you read 060 and you read 050, you'll see that 060 doesn't have things like, it describes why it's different than an accessory dwelling unit as provided for in 050. Those codes that I was bringing up, those that carry. So all accessory dwelling units fall under the requirements, except for the fact that they're not attached necessarily. 060 calls out a difference such that they are detached. And then how you can do things like that. But that go.
And that's the one that I was looking at.
Yeah. Right there. The use of the accessory dwelling unit shall be only for the care of aged parents and aged relatives, disabled children or disabled relatives. From what I'm aware, the county has not really applied that application. We've been more in the, like I said, permanent hired help and or family. For example, today I may not be aged, but tomorrow I may be. And I'm getting out of the way. This is really, we're seeing this more common in multi-generational households where the parents are giving up their big house and they're downsizing, but they want to still be around the grandkids. So the children and the grandkids move into the original house, and then the parents move into the smaller unit. Or I've seen it reversed too, but usually I see the parents moving in. That's my understanding. That's what this application is for, is Mr. Nelson is going to be moving into that unit, and then the kids will be granted the house. But again, that's why I don't know all the details, so I didn't want to speak too much for him.
Okay,
But
because the code clearly does not state hired help.
hired help would be a nurse in that case.
Okay.
Generally application, you know, we allow for that as an accessory dwelling use because, well, it's like I said, we've been doing that pretty commonly. So
Okay, 'cause I haven't seen one.
What's that?
I have not seen one come before us.
And I haven't either. This is the first, but I'm saying I've seen them out there. Properties that have multi-units on it, and that's what's on there.
Okay, well, and perhaps that's before this particular code section was
That's
put in place, I'm not sure. But I had a difficult time finding
what age?
where it met the criteria for a detached dwelling unit.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. See, the phrase aged parents, that some of this lingo we use is a little outdated. Aged parents means parents, you know, that are, so in other, that's our interpretation at least, is that that would also, you know, that's your parents. I don't know at what age do you become aged? I don't know. You know,
No, it modifies aged parents by saying care of aged parents.
no, but that's a second application. See, it says for the care of aged. So again, what's care? At what level? See, these terms are too subjective for me to feel comfortable telling a party. This is, you know, that's our interpretation, is basically it means that you can have your parents living there. It's not supposed to be as much for the kids, but it, you know, I just, you know, that's, like I said, I don't know exactly what Mr. Nelson's intent with it. Like I said, I believe it was that he was planning on moving in. In my opinion, that meets the definition of cared or aged, and then his kids are making sure that everything's good there. I mean, at what level do we define care? And I don't have that. So to me, you know, like my mom, she's of an age where I wouldn't mind watching over her. So I believe that that's caring for that individual. In other words, I interpret this pretty liberally.
Okay. Let's see. That's good. Thank you.
Does the applicant wish to speak?
If you want me to speak to what my plans are, I sure will. It's much like was described. I am preparing for retirement, and oddly enough, my son is going to be retiring after 20 years in the Marine Corps, and that's exactly what I'm doing. The main residence will be for him and his family, and I will be in the DADU.
Very well. Is there any public testimony?
There's a call-in user here. Let me. Hello? Are you there? Hello? I got you unmuted. Anybody? Bueller? All right.
I
Well,
want to speak to this item.
yeah. Yeah. Tried.
Does the staff have any final comments?
Not at this time.
Is there any clarification of public statements needed by anyone from the audience? Seeing none, the public testimony portion of this hearing for CUP 2021-06 is closed. Is there any discussion amongst the Planning Commission prior to entering a motion? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
I would suggest for the motion, utilizing the language in the
The staff for
the script as
Can you-
opposed. or
can
the
you put
staff
it up?
report. Well, I can read it. It's basically, we forward to the Board of Commissioners a recommendation of approval for CUP 2021-06 with the 6 adopted findings of fact
And how many conditions?
9 conditions.
How many?
9.
9 conditions. of
Got it.
approval.
Anybody with a motion? It's about to die.
Well, Mr. Chairman, this is
Yes.
Commissioner Vincent, and so that I would move that we forward to the Board of Commissioners that recommendation of approval for CUP 2021-06 with the 6 adopted findings of fact and 9 conditions of approval.
Here a second.
Commissioner McMullen, I will second.
That was Mr. McMullen.
Yep, there's been a second. So Commissioner Vincent moved and Commissioner McMullen seconded that we forward to the Board of Commissioners a recommendation of approval for CUP 2021-6 with the 6 adopted findings of fact and 9 conditions of approval. Is there any discussion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Mike Vincent,
Yes.
Mike Corrales,
Yes. Yes.
Roger Link,
Yes.
Kent McMullen.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the motion is approved.
The motion is approved. Next item. Item number 2 is a public hearing for file SUB 2021-5. It is a proposal to allow for the development of single-family residential subdivision comprising 6 parcels totaling approximately 37.5 acres and creating 55 half-acre lots minimum. The area where the project is proposed has a zoning designation of rural suburban 20, RS20, with a comprehensive plan designation of low-density residential.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, but from the last one, I'm planning on leaving now, and I wanted to make sure that was correct. Leaving the WebEx meeting.
Yep, you're
This is
approved.
Mr.
You're
Nelson.
done.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
log out.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure before I did. I'm sorry for the interruption, and thank you for your time.
Oh, no
Yeah.
problem. Thanks for checking.
Okay.
Okay. Staff, are there any additional people logging in seeking to comment on this matter?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't see anybody.
Okay. I declare the public hearing for SUB 2021-5 to be open. May we have staff present the staff report, please?
Yeah, except I can't get my screen to get big again.
You're
What is going on? 'Cause that's where it disappeared from my underbar. That's weird. Right? There. Well, yeah, I do now. I think so. It says I'm sharing. So I don't have to.
Yeah, you gotta pull in because you're just sharing the screen. So yeah, and then just so then just go into presenter mode. The actual PowerPoint presenter mode. Like down here, just go to that.
Oh, seen that.
Okay, and then
Okay.
then you gotta do this thing again.
Right.
Display.
Swap presenter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody sees this? Should say sub 2021-05.
Yep.
Okay. So this is, item number 2 is public hearing for file sub 2021-05. It's a proposal to allow for the development of a single-family residential subdivision comprising 6 parcels totaling approximately 37.5 acres and creating 55 half-acre lots minimum. The area where the project is proposed has a zoning designation of rural suburban 20, RS20, with a comp plan designation of low-density residential. Are there any additional people logging in seeking to comment on this matter?
Nope.
Okay. Chair Corrales?
That's the staff report.
No, no. I'm waiting for you to open the public hearing. Did I miss that part?
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, I apologize. Okay. Boy, that'd be quick. So, as mentioned, preliminary plat, 55 single-family residence. The applicant is Big Sky Development LLC. The owner is Chubby Cherries LLC, Dobie Burns. Subdivided approximately 37.5 acres, comprising 6 separate properties into 55 approximately half-acre lots for residential use. The site is primarily vacant farmland with 2 existing residences and outbuildings, including a pool and a tennis court, which will be removed. On the residents are staying, but the pool and the tennis courts are to be removed. On lots 126-150-094 and 126-150-174. As mentioned, zoning is residential suburban, RS20, with a low density residential city of Pasco urban area, 2 to 5 dwellings units per acre. This is the subject property. Basically, the red line represents the subdivision shape after all of these, it's all 6 of these lots. Here's a draft. It was access to up here is Whiskey River Road, and down here is Burns. So it does have the state law. I can never remember if it's when you hit 30 or when you go over 30. So like that 31. Residential subdivisions require secondary access for fire. This meets that requirement with the north access and the south access. So the SEPA was 2021-11. The applicant provided a SEPA checklist and included documentation to propose self-imposed mitigation measures for park and recreation impacts, transportation impacts, and for school facility impacts. Based on submitted paperwork, County Building and Planning Department issued a SEPA determination of DNS on June 17, 2021, with comments due by July 1st, 2021. Several comments were received. An amended DNS was issued on June 21st, 2021. There were no appeals of the SEPA determination. As mentioned, say this thing on my way. All right. The 37.5 plus or minus acres has frontage along Burns Road and connects the Whiskey River Road to the north. The developer is proposing that new residential parcels be provided with irrigation water, municipal water, private septic systems for each lot, and Franklin County Fire District 3 fire hydrants. The municipal water provider will be the city of Pasco. The proposed plat is located within the Franklin PUD service area for electrical power service, and the Pasco School District serves the area. There were some suggested changes as more information and discussion occurred since comment period and since the staff created the packet. So on, there were changes to the findings of fact and comments in the criteria findings of fact. So in originally in the staff report, the Public Works Department had requested an additional 10-foot along Burns Road along the south side of the property. This item was requested to be removed in its entirety as per the Public Works email received this today. And staff does have a copy of that email and it would be entered into the record. It simply states, Public Works Department will not require an additional 10 feet right of way along the north side of the roads of Burns Road. This is per the request reasoning shown below and consistent with Pasco Municipal Code 21.15050 for urban collector. The previous right of way set aside for the north, when you get to the, I'll show you something here in just a second. So right to about right here, there's a 70-foot right of way. There's some bump outs and things like that, but generally it's 70 foot. From here forward is 30. So, but this is to ensure and maintain consistency with the existing alignment of the road at this time. And it's consistent with phase 2, I believe in phase 1. There's 40 feet on the south side of the center line up to this point, and then there's 30 feet up on the north side. Again, this, as stated in Public Works' letter, this meets the minimum requirements associated with this type of a road, Burns Road. Item was removed in its entirety. There are no critical erosion hazards areas, and we apologize for any confusion that may have caused. That just was a holdover something else. And we added a comment that the city of Pasco did provide comment in July 1st, on July 1st. And the memo was dated July 1st as well. I don't know what the be mentioned her is. I apologize. That's just some sort of glitch. And then, so in reflecting on those changes and findings of fact, the suggested conditions of approval have been also modified such that it's been removed in its entirety as already discussed in the findings of fact. And then there's been an added condition of 6A, which causes all the planning and building conditions to shift one letter. But if required, a utility extension agreement will need to be entered into for city utilities and approved by the city council. That will be between the applicant and the city to work out. We would not be involved in that. Franklin County Planning Department recommends that the Planning Commission forward a positive recommendation to the Franklin County Board of Commissioners for application sub 2021-05 with 6 suggested findings of fact and 7 suggested conditions of approval. Again, this is a preliminary plat, and that's a pretty standard number. There's a suggested motion. Get to that in a minute. Any questions?
Does any commissioner have questions of staff?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Link. I have a question for staff, and then I'll have a question for the applicant later on.
Okay.
On page 55 of 166, 10D seems to be incomplete. Each lot will be eligible for City of Pasco. It doesn't say anything. That probably should be potable water at the end of that sentence.
That you said that was on page what?
55 of 166. Item D.
You are correct. Thought I got that one.
That's okay. And then I'll have a question for the applicant.
Any other question for staff? Okay.
Is the applicant ready for a question?
Caleb Stromstead here. I'm ready.
Does the applicant want to make his presentation first, or does he want to take a question first?
I don't have a presentation. I would just echo that we're, on behalf of the applicant, we're in support of the staff report and the recommended changes, as Derek just went over.
I did have a question in the staff report, as Commissioner Lank indicated that there was an agreement with the between the applicant and the school district. My understanding is that any agreement with the city for municipal water services indicated that the impact fees would be paid. Can you explain which way is it? Is it an applicant between the applicant and the school district, or is it based on what the city of Pasco requires?
Right, two different ones. The school district is using the SEPA appeal process to bypass the county not requiring a school impact fee. So they basically hold the developer hostage and threaten to do a SEPA appeal unless they enter into a voluntary mitigation agreement to pay the school impact fees at time of building permit. And so the developer volunteered, you would call it that, to do that. So that's been recorded and done, and that's just specifically to the school impact fees in Pasco. And then the second one to the utility extension agreement. The city of Pasco is now requiring a utility extension agreement for any utilities outside of the city limits. And we've done that before. We did that with Spencer Estates Phase 3 just next door. And we're working with the city right now to get that agreement in place, but it has not been established yet. Does that answer?
Everybody is aware that.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, my understanding is that the city was, to get municipal water, you had to sign the impact fees over to the school, but maybe I'm incorrect on that one.
Yeah, it's taken, I've been involved with several of these over the years, and it's taken many different shapes. You kind of don't know what you get until you apply for an application. And I mean, the last time we did Spencer Estates, the city said, if you want water, put in curb, gutter, sidewalk, street lights, dry sewer, and the whole works. And meetings, and we're able to get down to a reasonable compromise. But what they're going to do on this one, who's to say?
That's what I hear. Thank you.
Yep.
Is there any public testimony for or against?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't see any attendees.
Does the staff have any final comments?
Not at this time.
Is there any clarification of public statements needed by anyone from the audience?
Not for me.
Seeing none, the public testimony portion of this public hearing for SUB 2021-5 is closed. Is there any discussion amongst the Planning Commission prior to entertaining a motion? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion. Any motion.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Link. I'll make a motion, positive recommendation with 6 findings, fact, conclusions of law, and 6 conditions of approval, with that recommendation being made to the Franklin County Board of Commissioners.
So I do have a
Thank you.
suggestion. Sorry. There's another version if you'd like to use that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I didn't have it up. I forgot to move to the next slide. So
Okay.
This is another version. That is.
I wasn't seconded, so I can withdraw that motion, and then I'll make this motion.
Okay.
I move that the Planning Commission concur with the findings of fact and conditions of approval as detailed in the staff amended findings of fact and conditions of approval as detailed in the staff report. Gone. For case file, I haven't seen, case file sub division 2021-05, and recommend to the county commissioners approval of the request.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Vincent, and I second that motion.
Commissioner Link moved and Commissioner Vincent seconded that we forward to the Board of Commissioners a recommendation of approval for SUB 2021-5 with the 6 adopted findings of fact and 7 conditions of approval. Is there any discussion? Seeing
Corrales, did you just call for a motion or a roll call?
His connections kind of just went haywire.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was like an error message. And yeah, there's like a big triangle with like the exclamation point. Crap.
You need to see if we can get him back on or we won't have a quorum.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know how to go about that. If
So we're gonna have to pull the clause where we pause for 10 minutes where, so if I would ask that everybody just kind of turn the video, mute your video or do whatever you want to, at least the audio. Aaron, if you would coordinate to try to get with Mr. Corrales and get him
let me
reconnected.
see if I can talk to.
Because
Yeah,
even if we just have him call in, we can't because our phones don't work.
Well, yeah. Let me check real quick.
So if it's okay with everybody else, I'm calling for a 10-minute recess, up to 10 minutes. I can't believe that happened right at the time for the vote. Never had these problems.
am I back now?
Yes, you are.
Oh boy. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay.
Hear and see you.
So there's no discussion.
No.
May we have a roll call vote, please?
Oh, you
Mike Vincent,
Mike.
Mike.
Can you just like
Oh,
walk
he left for
away?
10 minutes.
Lost Mike.
Well, all right. Well,
All right.
well,
Sorry about this, Caleb. And everybody else. This is just. All right, only the people in this building are allowed to leave for 10 minutes because I can round them up.
There he is.
There he is. Yay! He came back about a minute after we lost him.
I took the opportunity to take a short break.
Yeah, that, I apologize.
Sorry.
I came back right after that.
Okay.
All right, we're all here. Move fast. Take that, call for that roll. Oh, my goodness.
Are we ready for roll call?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Mike Vincent,
Yes.
Mike Corrales,
Yes.
Roger Link,
Yes.
Kent McMullen.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the motion is approved.
Motion is approved.
All right.
Okay. So we have to talk about a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, again, in September, first Tuesdays, the immediately following, Labor Day? Yeah,
Yeah.
Labor Day. So do you guys want to meet on that day, or do you want to put it off a week like we did this year or month? August will be on the regular first Tuesday, but just wanted to see, that way we can make sure that we.
I don't mind keeping it on the regular schedule.
It's fine with me.
All right. Then that's what we'll plan for. If something changes, we can bring it up in August. I know.
When's Labor Day?
What's that?
What's the date? What's the date on Labor Day? Is that the end of the month?
Monday
August?
the 6th.
It's the first Monday in September.
First Monday of September.
Yeah.
So we'd be meeting that Tuesday, right after that then, right?
Mhm.
On the 7th, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be on Tuesday the 7th. So it's just our regular schedule, first Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
Okay. And like I said, if something comes up, or that's going to be an issue or whatever, we can discuss that on the 2nd of August. That one right now, I don't recall. I know I keep saying it, but we've got to do that workshop. So let's, and I seem to recall that's what we were kind of planning, that August we do a workshop regarding the bylaws. And if we don't have any other items, we may be able to just do a workshop as well as take action. I'll make sure that everybody gets copies again. I know I've sent them out a couple times, but I also know that they get buried. So I'll send that out tomorrow. Send out the latest version of the bylaws and plan to discuss those changes, if that's acceptable to the group.
Sounds good.
And hopefully, our goal is we were hoping to be able to meet in person this time. We just had some technical issues. Our plan will be to try to be meeting in person next meeting. We'll always have to be doing something like this to some degree, but we're gonna be opening up pretty fast here, hopefully. And that's where the glitch was occurring, is that the equipment in the courthouse, we have to get trained up and know how to run and operate that equipment, because it's different than what we use here. So, and the guy that does that, I believe, just got back, or should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Hopefully we'll.
but we'll give you a more advanced notice if there's a need to change the venue, but we're going to be doing everything we can not to have that happen. We want to be back in the courthouse. So that's really it for me, unless there's questions.
And I don't know, Mr. Chair, if Derek wants to update us as to board actions on items that we've recommended to them.
Okay, yeah, today, Capitula and, which was the event center off of Levy Road, that was approved by the board. I just got the resolutions. I'll be forwarding those out to the applicants tomorrow. What was the other one?
I think it was the subdivision, I want to say.
Oh, Maddox,
Or nomadic, yeah.
the
sorry.
dog, the service animal training facility for veterans and first responders, that was approved as well. In fact, all of the conditional use permits were approved by the board that we had. I don't have my list with me. I apologize. So that was one. Nelson we did tonight. Belcher, that was approved by the board. That's the request for the modified unique scenario where at the end of that long access drive where he wanted to replace that existing shop. It's 1, 2. Why am I missing 2? It's 2.
Well, the other one was just the
Subdivision.
definition of easement, but that was.
No, that was just, that's just today. I'm thinking, yeah, the vacation of easement, that has been postponed for 2 weeks just to make sure that we've notified everyone that may have a right to it, but our research has found that there is no, it's not assigned to a party. It's actually just assigned to property. And both property owners desire to have it removed, but it's under legal review. What was oaked? And then we had
Well, there was the two subdivisions.
Spencer. Both of those were approved. They're not Spencer, Douglas and Kohler. Those were approved by the board as well. Preliminary plats. They're pretty much everything you guys have moved forward. I think we're got, except for these items from tonight, have been brought to the board, and all of them were approved. None of the, is that everything?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's it. Trying to, this computer's different.
Well, I guess the hotspot got approved.
Oh, yeah, hotspot fueling station. That's number 2. That's what I couldn't remember. We have a couple more conditional use permits that are coming through. Those may go, I think one of those will probably go on in August. But
Well, no, it's
we missed that, didn't we?
yeah, we missed. So basically,
That's
they're going to be in
going September.
September. There's a winery, and then just today we got 3 CUPs, but they're all kind of dealing with roof height.
The
Yeah, they'll
accessory
refer them as
structure.
almost like one item because they're in the same vicinity. You know,
We'll get into those later.
yeah.
But so we still are moving. Then at some point, the assumption is that Zaragoza will come forward as well. But yeah, all the subdivisions and so subdivision 1, 2, 3, 4. There is no sub 4. We skipped 4. That has to do with the way our systems work. So those 3 are all done. They've been to the board and approved. And the CUP 1, 2, 3, 4. Tonight was 5, if I remember right. No. 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. All of those CUPs have been approved. And then these items will move forward to the board over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Is that clear? Did that help?
Yeah.
It
Yes.
kind of, when I started thinking about it, like, yeah, because I've been going to the board about every other week with 2 to 3 items. You know, we've had conservation, the VFP program's been reinitiated, voluntary stewardship program. Those contracts have been done. Vacation of easement for, what was that for? Those don't get brought to planning commission, but all of that's been done. So it's been busy. And we just keep getting stuff in. It just keeps coming. So I don't know. I can talk forever, guys. You should know that.
Okay, 8:15, meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.